Welcome everyone to the Community Engagement Commission meeting, and this is Wednesday, July 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Andrew, here's next up is roll call. Commissioners, Summer
Darrow here.
Cynthia Goodness.
Cynthia here.
Bill Norman.
Here.
Mark Saba.
Here.
Aaron Asmuth tonight has to be excused. He was absent with the conflict. And Jennifer Kosaka, is absent.
I make the motion that we excuse Jennifer and Aaron from tonight's meeting. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the list is approval for the minutes of June 14th, 2023.
I make a motion that we approve their minutes from the June 14th.
I had one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It is probably yours.
Yes, I was not, I had asked to be excused from that meeting, so I was not here. Although I appreciate the credit.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
You were here in spirit.
Thank you. I wasn't sure what to make it out.
Okay, with that minor correction, motion to approve with that minor correction.
I move that we approve last month's minutes with that correction.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Are there any public comments tonight? We have no one in the audience, but someone could be online.
Nobody online except members of the group.
Okay. Looks like no public comment. Number 5, City Hall updates. Look at the handout that was presented to us. And does anybody have any comments? Because it looks like we've had 5 things between the Fairfoot and Park, City Council highlights, strategic plan survey, city budget engagement, city park.
Only thing I want to add to that happened after I sent that out, just a brief update from the city council meeting last night. Barely connected to you folks, but just let you know that the Community Engagement Commission will soon no longer be the youngest commission in the city of Liberty Lake. They did approve last night the appointment of the 3 members for the new Civil Service Commission, which will be starting up soon. So you are moving one step up in the seniority ranks here soon.
Oh, okay.
And I also wanted to share that the last handout I gave you, as you get to the discussion about budget, that is actually a partial printing of an in development, I guess, second draft for the next Zen City public engagement we will be doing soon once we get some approvals from City Hall staff on that. That's most of the landing page, but it contains all of the timeline that Robert thought would be useful for you folks to see once we get into the budget discussion. And once we go live with that, of course, I'll be sending all of you folks the link to that so you can engage yourself and share out engagement to others in your contacts.
We don't have to go dig dirt, do we? Like traveling board?
Not yet.
No, I hope. We'll find a tree to put that, yes.
So right now, you would just make sure, or I know that when we were talking about this earlier, or one, that this is the schedule we're on, and we would like to outreach everybody we can to let them know.
Yes, the engagement on this one, this isn't going to be so much like a survey like the previous one was.
Right.
there's gonna be, at this point, it's 4 main topic areas. You see the first 2 there, and then we wanted to reduce as much scroll as possible on that page. An opportunity for residents to just voice their comments, ask questions, engage in discussion about the budget, the city budget. So we've got those divided into 4 areas. You see the first 2 there regarding capital projects comments, services comments, revenue/tax issue discussions, and then the 4th one currently is other topics, other services, in case some people weren't sure, is this a capital project issue or is it a services issue? At least it gives them a sure way of knowing, yes, I can respond in this area.
So is this gonna be more of a responsive type of survey rather than a yes, no?
Yes, correct.
So are we gonna be asking people to, like we did with the strategic planning, or there's gonna be a QR code for them to go to, or is this gonna be something that's in a different line?
We will at least have a QR code poster, for lack of a better term, for farmers market with this one. We will show what the main areas of responses are going to be that people responded. There may be a way to do this in person too, but it's a different type of a survey.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at it as more informative for us who work this farmers market. and it'd be something that, you know, Robin and I would have to know before we go in, so so we can get more educated on this. So are we gonna start this like, not this week, but next?
I would guess probably not this weekend. We need to wait for this one to be approved and going online.
Okay.
And then we'll have, I don't know, around a month and a half to get people to respond and just let the city leaders know what are people's thoughts about what they want to get funded, what do we want to get funded more.
Okay, could you do Robin and I a favor? Can you, once we get this thing laid out, can you document it in an email to us? I'm gonna be out of town next week,
okay.
So, but I'm still gonna be at the farmer's market Saturday, a week from Saturday. But, you know, if Robin and I could know what exactly, you know, would you take a survey to do the budget? And, you know, and where do we go from there, you know? So if you can, you know, kind of detail it out, so, you know, we can take all 3 points and say you do this, this, or this, so.
Exactly, I'm working on, I have formulated a way to do it hopefully easy at farmers markets.
Yes. Yes.
It's just kind of contingent on knowing if this is what we're going to be doing with the online version.
Okay.
Is there, it would seem from the responses in the report about participation in the strategic survey, that there's a case to be made that those little slips of paper with the QR code had some positive impact.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So if we could, assuming that they're inexpensive, that we can put the QR code on them, it's nice to have something to hand out.
Well, that's what we did. And it worked.
Exactly. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking here.
That's why we have you people here.
Because, you know, I also took those same things, took a handful from the farmer's market and took it to the movies.
Yeah.
Handed them out at the movies, and then 4th of July, Chris and I were out there handing them out to everybody at 4th of July. Don't know what the final response was. If there was a big push at the end, Mark, was there?
Not really.
Not really, okay. Yeah, we handed them all out and, you know, and we go like this, or please go online, you know,
so. We wanted to, given that was a major event,
right,
keep it open for the possibility that we could see some, but we really didn't see a spike in submissions. On the
not on that day, but there were some weekends where I may be wrong, but it went by 100 responses, I think. We had one big jump on the weekend.
Oh, we did? Good. That means what we're doing out there at the farmer's market is working. Because that's where the jump.
Was it located at the farm, or I mean, do you think it was toward the farmer's market, or was it, because I know I worked really hard and the Friends of the Library worked really hard on that book sale that weekend.
It might have been that weekend, and there were several things happening that weekend, so I think the combination of a lot of different events, a lot of different efforts, as well as possibly the right people got to their right contacts, wherever those
Yeah.
people are.
Well,
We went from, we had something like around 250 responses before that weekend. And we were at, like, we had 350 the following week. We ultimately ended up with like 650 total respondents, just under 500 of whom completed the whole thing.
So I'll ask Mark this. In your eyes, was it a successful survey?
Absolutely.
Being the first time around, I thought seeing 652 people participate,
So we kind of had this unofficial goal of 800. And that was based on nothing other than Zen City's comment about another city that rolled out a survey. And so we came up a little short of that, but I think all things considered, it was a great first survey. So
yeah, I thought so too.
And bravo to all of you.
and maybe it will help cement in your mind the difference between the budget engagement and the strategic planning survey. To think of the budget engagement more of a discussion forum than a survey.
Right.
Because that's what it is. It's kind of this live discussion forum.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the many other capabilities of Zen City beyond what we just went through.
Sure. Awesome.
Okay, I guess this is our next initiative, and I have to think it through for me, or, and probably for everybody else, and how best to present this, because it's different than the strategic plan survey. It's not that we can't use some of those means and methods and tools that we use, like the QR code and things such as that, but, it's all of us, we just need to formulate our approach and how best.
That's why I asked David for, next week, once he gets everything planned out, you can kind of give us bullet points. And then maybe you and I can get together and go through it prior to the farmer's market. So we're both on the same page. We aren't talking to both sides for mouths.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I'd like to be included. I'm on
Okay.
the farmer's market next week and the following,
Oh, good.
Oh, cool. This
Okay.
week or next?
the 29th and the 5th.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
I believe I'm signed up for those days as well.
Is that
So I
you?
also would like to, this is Cynthia.
Great.
Yeah, so I'm out of town this weekend, but next weekend I believe I've signed up. So I
Awesome.
will be there. Yeah.
The more the merrier.
You'll all get the notes.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, if you just had
Yeah,
the whole,
that's gonna
the
say-
CE season.
Let everybody get involved in that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So maybe the four of us ought to get together prior to.
Well, that would be the quorum
Yeah.
issue.
Oh, shit, you're right.
We can go 2 and 2, like
Yeah, we could do that.
like
You're right.
I
You're
can
right.
talk, and then Bill, you and I, and then.
Yeah,
or
we can do
me
that.
and Cynthia, or whatever, and split it up that way.
Sure,
So we
sure.
don't get into the quorum issue.
We can do it.
You gotta watch the rolling meeting issue though. That's kind of what you're describing.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think creatively.
I think if we get the notes, we're.
I think we're good.
Okay,
If
yeah,
anybody has
Discuss
questions,
prior to,
direct them to me.
yeah. Well, you
Okay.
won't be at the farmer's market, but we can stumble our way through it.
You're smart.
Yeah, we're sure.
yeah, we can just do it, figure it out.
Mark, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah,
I was gonna say the exact thing that you did, so.
okay, we don't wanna do a rolling meeting, that's true,
Okay, we can just do it, yeah, we're fine.
we're fine.
We're good. Let's go to business. Business.
Discussion and business strategic plan survey, everybody involved, updates, insights, citizen focus group. Let's just look at the updates for those who worked on that and what they thought. I always call them, like takeaways, things that we encountered, things where we can either, we can either enhance, or maybe we just could not have done and change. Anything notable?
Well, I think with getting 657 people to respond, what we had as our tools that we had to give it to the people, because that little piece of paper, which I just threw away, a whole bunch of them in there that I still had left over, but had all the information that was on it, and it was short and sweet, and you could basically say, because when I handed it out to any person that came by, they said, well, I'm not a resident. Well, you don't have to be a resident. You can be a resident or a non-resident. That's the first question that's asked. I said, thing is that they're just asking, the big key words that I used were strategic planning for the city for the next 5 years. People just lit up. They, wow. And I said, yes. And this is one of the few cities that are asking their residents and non-residents for their input. And people were impressed with that.
Mhm.
And I think we can do the same thing with this survey that we have coming up. And, you know, basically, I honestly thought that what we had to hand out, what David put together for us, was spot on. Perfect.
I agree.
So,
So one of my insights or takeaways that I had was, people did like that handout better, and so the iPad thing did not work out too well. People did not want to stay there and click it in at the market. But I also found out some other things, is especially when I was working down there at the library and talking to people coming in for the book sale, is that not everybody, and it's not just, at first I thought it was just one demographic, but not true. It was some people were, it's the first time they had really heard about this, they were new to the area, didn't quite know, was a little bit wanting, like, is there a paper copy? Is there another alternative we could do this? We're interested. Some people also were a little bit leery on the whole computer, just didn't, they were already had their fists up here with computers and didn't want to do that, but was interested in doing the survey in alternative means. And so I don't know if we would or are going to consider, is this going to be 100% through the computer, or is there going to be another alternative means for those people who would prefer to do it by paper copy and just hand it in, or do it at paper copy and mail it in? I didn't know. And I guess that sort of goes back, and I know we don't have budget, right? But maybe we should put that on the budget for next year. Is just that I think Marky mentioned something about the splash and having something or an insert into the splash and having that option. Something for consideration.
but the only, you know, I know what you're saying, but the only problem with that is who's going to do it? Who's going to take all that information, input it into the system, because it has to be inputted into ZenCity. And we're
Todd Henderson here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It has to be put into ZenCity. So if we get, say, we get 50 responses on the paper, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, okay? Monkey in the wrench. Who's going to input the information? Who's going to collect it all? And, you know, that type of thing. There's a lot of behind the scenes. You know, it's easy for us to do a survey on paper and everything, but it's how do we implement it into the program itself? I don't know.
My response to that would be that, and we alluded to this from at least my very first participation with this commission. I think we have an obligation to at least attempt.
I'm not saying not to. Yeah, no.
And my point in making that comment is that to put some weight behind the idea that even if we just have the ability to make copies at City Hall, and just make them as needed, and say to people, if you would prefer to do this on paper, you can pick out a copy of the survey at City Hall and fill it out and return it. Now,
when it gets returned, Bill, this is where we're.
then when it gets returned,
How does that?
What the I would certainly volunteer. I'm a pretty good typist, and I think we could just see what that results, because I don't think any of us expected it would be an avalanche of paper forms. It if we got 652 online, and if we get doing better, and say we have 1,000, I would be surprised if we had 50 or 60 who wanted to do, and then would take the time to come and pick it up
Right.
and fill it out. I think it'd be worth trying, and if we find that we're awash in paper copies, then we scramble, and next time we figure out how to do it well.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's it.
I would volunteer to help put those in as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Just
Great.
kind of see how it goes.
And I think we ought to, not so much on this, when that we're gonna be doing, you know, what I mean,
Yeah.
the one that's coming up with the budget, but our next survey, yeah. Let's give it a try. You bet.
Well, there may be a way to do it on this upcoming one.
You really think so?
There may be,
Because
it
it's all-
depends on what happens.
Well, you know, it's basically, it's just, isn't it just verbal input or just, it's just gonna be, written in verbal?
Or quickly handwritten, yeah.
Yeah, so, if it doesn't need to be put into Zen City, just if it can be used outside of that, sure.
That's even easier.
Yeah.
Or at least.
Or add it into Zen City later.
Right.
So if we did decide to do something, you know, I'm not saying that we should, I'm just saying some of the feedback I received. Like to do something of paper, then it sounds like Bill, you'd be willing to,
I would.
and was it Cynthia?
Cynthia,
That you
yep.
would? Okay.
Cool.
Anything?
Cynthia, just don't mix that up with any class papers you're doing for your college program.
Not even. I actually stopped that class. I've moved on to something else.
There you go.
Citizens focus group.
And I put that out there as an opportunity for, I guess at this point, Summer and Robin to share what you folks were involved with last Thursday. Cynthia as well. I just want to point out, Cynthia was not there as a member of the CEC. She was there as an enrollee of the City Academy group. Therefore, we avoid the quorum.
Well, yeah, there was a group of quite a few individuals who looked at the mission statement, the vision statement, I guess, for the city, and looking at if any changes were in order. And we broke out into little groups, and it was an interesting sort of it was a community engagement event in some ways. Are you able to hear? Yes. Okay, sorry, I have a lot of feedback over here. I'm not sure what's going on when I talk, but yeah, it was really interesting to see different members of the community who have a lot of civic mindedness and definitely community engagement. I think that yeah, I don't know that anything really popped up for me, but I think it was interesting to see a subset of people who were just a little bit more involved than people who just want to answer surveys. So I don't know. I don't know what the next step will bring, but it's interesting to see another group of people who are interested.
The group is meeting one more time tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, based on the consensus of the group itself, they wanted another opportunity to just absorb the discussion and then make sure that that was the right collection of things that they were suggesting to the council. So that'll be tomorrow night.
And sorry, my audio is making it kind of impossible to talk. I'm just hearing myself. So I'm listening now.
We hear you okay.
Can someone fill us in on what was going on? What was this? I couldn't hear what you were saying. What was this group that got together?
Do you want to describe what the focus group
Yeah.
is?
So we invited the graduates of the City Academy, in addition to the chairs of all of the boards and commissions. And then based on a conversation we had with a couple of members of this commission, extended the invitation to the vice chair and also to Aaron. And so what ended up happening is we had this group together for 2 hours last Thursday. And the goal was to take a couple of elements of the survey data and just have that group kind of go through, what I'll call a validation process. Not reinterpreting data, not adding to data, but just taking what the response data showed and discussing, is this the picture that we think the data tells? And so they came up with a list of core principles for the city's vision, and they came up with a list of priorities for the strategic priorities. Now, again, these are just suggestions that are going to be made to city council based on the survey data. And then council will take that under consideration at its next strategic planning workshop, which is scheduled to be August 22nd.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay. It's cool.
This is Summer again. I would add too that it was there weren't any major surprises. I know the findings will come out, or there'll be more sort of official stuff on that, but I just want to point out that I think we're kind of on the right track with all the ideas that we assume everyone is interested in. I feel like we're on the right track with all of our surveying. I just found that the more actual engagement, when you're talking to someone, things really brainstorming outside of what's on the survey seems to bring up interesting things. So for me, it just was a reminder to really engage with people in conversation while even talking about these survey matters, and just really dig a little deeper and see where they're coming from and what's behind what they're thinking.
Thanks, Summer, for that. Yeah, and I have some of the same feelings that Summer shared on even the whole process and how well we work together, get the strategic plan survey out. And I consider it a success from the responses, because I've done other surveys and had less respondents, and so I think that this was very successful. And then with the citizen focus group, I don't think from my group that I was in that there were too many surprises. I believe that we really looked at the data and tried to come up with the best between the vision statement and also with the priorities. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go to the farmers market updates and takeaways. So, any updates or takeaways? Cynthia, you've been a lot lately at this farmers market. Do you have any?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I do find that it would be maybe nice to have water and make sure that I prep myself with some water. But for me, I just realized it's really hot under those tents, and so that's my biggest takeaway. Other than that, I'm really excited to see how much engagement that allows for an opportunity. For example, so many people do come up, they're interested at the posters, they're interested in looking at the maps. It's a really nice way to engage. I think it's exciting. So I think I don't really have any other feedback other than I've noticed that I've gotten myself into trouble with how hot I've gotten underneath there.
So they don't have water supply for people at the city's table?
That would be amazing, but
you're saying you don't have.
I'm sorry.
Which is, well, for me,
I will look at that.
I just bring my own.
I'll bring my own too.
I know
Everyone brings their own.
that, yeah, there's a lot, but yeah, just bring my own.
That should be an easy fix.
But,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it'd be real easy.
I mean, to supply water, not bring your own. We should be able to provide.
Yeah.
well, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate, but sometimes it might be nice to like offer if there's small waters. If somebody looks very thirsty and they're hot, I've asked them to come. Would you like to step into the shade? It's so hot out here, and they often do. And then if there was some water to offer, that would be kind of nice.
So last week, the shade and the tents were hotter than being out in the sun.
Yeah, it was
hot.
intense last week.
Yeah.
It was intense. Mark, anything, updates or takeaways?
I echo what Cynthia just said. It's a great place to meet people and answer questions. And it's nice that we, as participants, don't have to sit there like we have in the past and hand off questions to the mayor or the council person who's ever there. Because, we're educated enough to where we can answer about, Kramer overpass. If they ask about the big question last week was, what's happening with Mission? And we were able to answer that question because we were informed we had the information before the farmers market started. So, that's where if I have a takeaway, that's one thing I'm really excited about, that I don't feel like I'm there twiddling my thumbs and pointing them off to someone and handing them off to someone.
I agree with that too.
So,
And by the way, if anybody asks for some reason about that this weekend, that project did get completed on the road Monday.
Yep.
And I believe by the end of this week, the sidewalk work will be concluded as well.
It was funny. I drove my golf cart over there. I had to take some supplies from about over at Ace Hardware for Winterglow and take it over to the compound. Well, the DJ sign and everything was closed, was still up. And I went down and did my thing for about 15 minutes, came back. Sign was done, gone, and everything, and cars were going. I go, wait a minute, what happened here? And then I come to the meeting last night and find out that it was opened up. So it opened up during that time. So yeah, about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. So
I got a few comments on, let's say, well, what's being built down there beside the fire station or over here. So I asked David, because Megan last year put together a nice construction or a map and what was being built. And so I requested that we have another one of those for everybody.
I know that's on her project. She just came back from maternity leave like 6 weeks ago. She is pursuing that.
good.
Yeah, I think that would help too. And so, and so we have on here, Barefoot in a Park is on August the 5th. So we won't be down at our typical Liberty Lake, I call it the listening post down there in the park. We're going to be at Barefoot in the Park in Pavilion. Here's a sign. If anybody would like to sign in to work. And you know what I can do, Summer and Cynthia, I'll take a photo of this and then I'll email it to you.
And
Thank you.
I've got maps for a couple of you here. Can easily be shared with all three of you. That shows you the layout of the event for this year, what we did last year and what we will be continuing again this year. We'll have a table area with a tent with the Parks and Recs Commission. Basically just assisting people. Really, it's just two main things. We'll have a rock painting area for the kids there to assist kids with getting the rocks and using the colored markers. And then parents will be coming with wristbands to serve as passes to have their way of fun on the bouncy houses and water slides and whatnot that will be there. Again, this table is there to provide those bands. And
did they have to sign a waiver?
I
thought we did last year.
Yeah, there was a waiver last year.
You think that we have going on are the waivers.
The waivers getting signed.
So that's really what we need you there for.
It's busy.
We only, Gen Camp thinks we only need to have maybe 2 to 3 people there at a time. We do have one city staff member, at least, who will be there for most of that time. I'll be popping in and out myself. So you've got Robin's list there, and you know which times need to be filled up, and whatever you can do for half an hour or more to assist will be appreciated.
And I'm sorry if I missed this, but and maybe it's in this map. I can't. Sorry, I'm only 30% participating, even though I'm 90% drawing. Where is this tent gonna be? I think that was our problem last year. Has that been addressed?
It's gonna be right close to where the inflatables are this year.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Location. Thank you, Summer.
This is where community feedback makes a difference.
Yes.
Can I make another suggestion on the Barefoot in the Park? That might be another area where just having some water available could be very helpful, because I expect it to be hot,
Very hard.
very hot. Thank you.
Couple cases with a cooler and some ice. And good.
Another person I know who's working very hard on this is Mark Saba. Do you have anything to say on their personal part?
Yeah, we're gonna have one of the new events that's gonna happen this year, and it's gonna be ran by the, Ridgeline, booster band booster club. It's gonna be a dunk bucket. And there's gonna be, 10 celebrities every half hour. There'll be a celebrity that you can go dunk. And the way they're gonna have it set up, they're gonna have it strategically, you'll be about 10 feet away for $2. You can throw a thing. If you wanna get closer, it costs you $5. If you wanna get closer, you got $10. If you want to just walk up and just hit the paddle, it's $20. And it all goes to a great cause. It goes to the kids in the band. So, they're trying to earn money for their trailer. And this is just another way for them to make some money. As a matter of fact, the students are gonna be walking around, you know, promoting who's in the dunk tank at the time, so, or the dunk bucket. So some of the celebrities we got the mayor, we got the chief of police, we got the deputy chief, we got Jed Spencer with the county commission, or the city council. We've got and then we've got like the band director from Ridgeline, superintendent from CV. So we got an array of celebrities, and the schedule we put out in the splash, and it's posted on the website right now. The other thing that we've got going on is a Touch a Truck. It was been incorporated into Barefoot this year because it's usually a standalone, but because of Jandy being on maternity leave, and she was the one that kind of headed it up. She's the director of the library. You know, we chose to at least have what we call a Touch a Truck 2.0. So it'll be a smaller version, but yet there'll be stuff for the kids to go walk through, and you know, graders and fire truck, and hopefully the SWAT truck's there, and it'll be an event. Then the third new thing that we're going to have this year is Golf Carts Etc. is sponsoring a golf cart parade and decorated golf cart contest. So that's going to be it's going to be registration at noon, and the parade will be at 1. Just something different. It's going to be fun. And then we also, the other new thing we got coming, you know, everything is new this year, and it's making it bigger and better. Last year we had music didn't start until 6 o'clock last year, so everything shut down at 4, and then everyone kind of left. And then when the music started, there was no one there. No one came back. So what we're doing this year, we're having 2 bands, not just one. The first band starts at 4 o'clock. So when everything starts tearing down at 4, the music starts, the beer garden opens up. So we've got that started. So everyone will move over to the bowl to watch the band music. And then there'll be another band come on, and then at 6, I think, and then it'll be over at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it'll be a fun event. We're really looking forward to it. So I'll shut up now.
That's okay.
And speaking of Barefoot celebrities, Mark is one of the 2 guests on next week's installment of the Liberty Lake Deep Dive podcast. We will be talking about all the events happening that day.
Okay, well, we'll be sure and listen to that.
I will say this, I even asked him the question, you'll have to listen and get the response. I asked Mark the question, which is the better event to attend, Barefoot in the Park or Winter Glow? Put him on the spot, and you have to see what answer he came up with.
Okay.
Wow, I'm tuning in for that. I can't wait to hear his answer.
Yeah, me neither. I can't wait to hear that one, Mark.
Okay, you get to listen.
Okay.
I won't give it away.
Okay.
I was,
and Summer.
put it this way, I was impressed at the way I answered it. Weren't you, Dave?
I was.
Yeah, I didn't think I could think that quick on my foot. So.
So, next item is our 2024 budget request.
Here's a big one.
And this is a big one, and so we're going to be spending the remainder of this meeting and plus next in the August meeting. Because
When does it have to be, when the city council, so the,
Check the ahead of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're right.
never mind.
Yeah, staff files the budget recommendations with the city clerk on August the 18th.
Okay,
We have our meeting on August the 16th, so I want to,
okay, we're covered. Okay,
yeah,
good.
want to definitely start, let's get talks and discussions started now.
Okay, we got 2 meetings to do. Good.
And I put that behind you in case we thought you wanted to use that.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Or,
I might.
or not, it's your call.
Just as a caution, it's not going to affect what you just talked about. However, these dates are going to change on this. They're not going to change to the extent that you won't be able to have your August discussion. But
Oh, okay,
wait for the final version before telling other people about these dates, because they're gonna change.
Oh, okay,
okay,
but we're still good for the 16th.
Yes, it will actually go the other direction.
Oh, good. We may have September.
Probably not, but certainly August.
Okay.
okay, that's great to know, thank you. Let's start off, so. David, how many via email comments did you receive with regards to the budget?
From you?
Yeah, I got it.
I lost track.
Okay.
Let's see, the only ones that came by email, Robin, and then, I guess you could also say Cynthia as well, but we're open to getting comments from you live tonight, or since we have next month as well, even into the next meeting. This is a good opportunity, though, to at least start your wish list, knowing that, this is just the first step in the process. Ultimately, it's the city council's call for all departments as far as what can and will be funded. We would also need, not necessarily tonight, but we would need dollar figures attached, requested dollar figures attached with these items. Whether that means how much you think the group would need to spend on this, or you want to at least put out a number to cover things, or maybe you want to put out an item tonight and then investigate over the next couple of weeks and then add the dollar figure to that in August. Did I cover everything?
Perfect.
And I know there's some things the group has talked about, but this is the night, and as well as next month.
And we do have to have a number associated with that, so.
We do have a number, or we will have.
We do need a number, so.
Oh, we do need a number.
Yeah. I'll rephrase that. Okay. Can you start with you, Bill?
We can. So, I would like to see us, and we would need to do some research here, but I don't think it would be hard. I feel like that card that we handed out helped out with the strategic survey. And we put a lot of emphasis on the farmers market months that is available to us. But there are a lot of months of the year when it isn't. And while we've got some other singular events like Winter Glow that we could probably use more effectively in terms of handing out or inviting public comment, if we had a hot chocolate booth or something that was there, and we invited, if it were timely, we invited people to participate in some survey. So I'd like to see us budget for maybe quarterly a postcard or a card. I'm talking about the design that David used for the strategic survey. The design could change. It would be linked to our website. There would be a QR code. And in addition to having it available to hand out at whatever is happening at that time, that we would mail out to city residents, inviting their input. Now, feasibly, we don't have something that we want to stir every quarter. And it was my thought that if we did it more frequently, it was probably too much. So if we budgeted for every quarter, even though we might not use it, I think we should get that capacity into our outreach so that we can, not only hand things out personally to the extent that we've got advanced opportunities to do that, but can also mail to all of our residents and businesses. And kind of get them used to being asked to check it out and comment.
Okay, so
So I'm talking about, yeah,
is that accurate?
that's accurate.
What cost would
I think, and I would say we put postcard, but what I would mean there is the cheapest mailer, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah, this is Summer. I'd also say that a mailer is something that we have already said we would like in our budget, and I think we should stay on that track, because I think the real thing is obvious that we are engaging with people in person and we are engaging with people digitally. But this seems to be a major place that we are not engaging with people. And I would like that mailer when we get closer to that to have some interactive thing that isn't just digital. So I just want to put that out there now, that maybe that postcard or whatever it is has a written space and can be dropped off at City Hall or something along those lines. Because I think also we need to be able to really see if these are reaching people. And if it's just, and it doesn't have to be a written survey, now we're tabulating that. Obviously we're trying to have Zen City and all that, but something where we're actually seeing if this is working out and not just digital, because I think that only covers a subset of people.
Absolutely, and not only drop off at City Hall, but if there was something, if we were asking for input, they could pick up a form, they could request it, or come and pick it up, so that if digitally they're not going to go there, such people that we should have a minimum handwriting standard.
So really there are two costs involved with this. Investigation would need to be done to printing costs.
Yeah.
Consideration of desired quantity for each of these, and then also mailing costs.
Right, so
Does the city, Mark, maybe you can answer this, does the city have a bulk rate when it comes to mailing? Or do they pay the actual 60 some odd cents?
I think that's a question we would have to get clarification on. I don't know if the city gets a bulk rate. I think if you mail in bulk, you would potentially get a bulk rate.
I know.
Especially if you were doing some kind of, they used to call it a postcard stamp, but I don't know if that's what it's called now, but it's cheaper than your regular first class mail.
yeah,
And so I would assume we would get the same rate, but I would budget, just for the sake of the number, I would probably budget $1 a unit, just to give yourself a starting place.
that's a good.
And then once we get clarification, we can back off if needed.
Because right now, yeah, just the postage alone, where they say mailing is gonna go up to 60 cents, like,
66,
oh,
65, something like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So
That's
sounds
understandable.
good.
That's your standard.
But that's just, yeah, that's good, so, but that's a good idea, $1 per, but then what?
Yeah, and
how
I'm
much?
happy to do some research either at the UPS online and just find out. So we start there, but I would do some research to find out what our expectations ought to be.
So I'm gonna put here, let's just start out with $1 per,
Unit.
yeah.
And I don't even know how many mailers we would do.
You know, we were talking about it when we were first talking about this, 5,000 is what we were looking at in the city.
Do you know the number of residences in the city limits?
According to the 2020 census, we have just shy of 4,000 households. Now, if you had businesses, that it goes up, so.
And
5,000.
does that include apartments?
It does, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, as of April 1st, 2020, we've added, since then, so you have to plus it up for that, plus it up for business. So
Right.
5,000 may not be a
Might
bad.
not be a bad number, yeah.
When everybody agrees, I put $5,000 up there, just, or do you
That's
want
I'm
to?
still there. I was still at Bill investigate to be.
I'd start as a starting point, yeah, I'd do that, Robin.
Okay, so that'll be the starting point. Bill, but to do for you is you're gonna research it and have a number for if there's something else changed.
No, yes.
Okay,
Robin, just to make absolute clarity on this, that needs to be times 4.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right,
because we're looking for a quarter.
that's right.
Can I add another expenditure to it?
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay? Because I know I'm not supposed to necessarily be most.
Cynthia Summers, Robin coming through, okay?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you.
The other vehicle I was thinking is the Splash. We could get, okay, Craig Howard told me we could throw a flyer in there and $1,500. And that $1,500 gets you out to 10,000 people, or 10,000, whatever they call it, subscribers, or I don't know what they call that. Circulation, yeah.
Do you recall, did he say that was the insert cost, or is he also covering the
That was
cost of the sheet?
That was the insert cost. Let me clarify that. I'll call Craig on that. I'll find out for sure.
Okay. Yeah, the to-do list, Mark clarified. Yeah, I'm gonna have put your name up here. Okay,
Could we have it, I mean, I don't know what the precedent is or what the other commissions do, but do we have any way to budget for sort of miscellaneous things? Is there a way to specify that without line iteming it beforehand, or, you know, something along those lines, or something under a broader heading like outreach or events or something like that? So that we're not stuck saying, oh, look, no budget, wait, next year.
I think I know the answer to that. Mark, do you know for sure? Like how she said, events.
We could find a miscellaneous line item to put a discretionary budget in. I don't know off the top of my head what line item that would be, but yeah, absolutely, we can find somewhere to put that and designate it as the commission's, you know, whatever we would call it, discretionary outreach fund or whatever.
Great, I just want to be cognizant of that. Thank you.
Sammy,
so much.
how much?
Yeah, yes, sir. What now?
He wanted to know
How
if you
much?
have a specific dollar amount in mind.
I don't. I would rely on either what other established commissions have maybe done, and just take a look at what would make sense to us a little bit.
Okay.
We can add supplies in that miscellaneous.
Yeah, that was my next question. Are we at now, like those cards that we hand out at the farmer's market, does that fall under our, no? Great.
Just
Never
me
mind.
going to the copier.
Okay, I'm not sure how deep they get into expenses within your commission, so.
Something quick and expensive like that, don't worry about it.
Okay.
In contrast to, you know, we were talking about this coin idea a few months ago, and that involves going out to an outside vendor and a die cut and possibly plastic, thicker paper.
Right.
Okay, Summer and Cynthia. So I know Cynthia did have some items. Summer, do you have any beyond what you mentioned?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay, well, and we still have the August meeting anyway, so if you think of something, we can do it, you know, mention that on there, so. Cynthia.
Yes.
And I know you had a long list, and maybe you want to do it from an executive summary type situation, I don't know. It's fine.
Cynthia's appointed herself as the event planner for the group, I think.
Yes.
I did have a long list because I was actually just brainstorming possibilities for what other things can we do besides the farmers market and the winter glow, and like how else do we get out there and reach people. And I thought of like, well, you either host an event or maybe we build something and I think, or we buy something. And then I started to think of a few ideas under each of those sections. For example, if we were going to host an event, we could do something like a community dance or a kind of like the coin idea, but as an event. Or I can't remember, I don't have that sheet, the email in front of me to kind of go by, but maybe, presenting these ideas, there's kind of a lot of them. We could just pick one. If something sounded like, hey, we could do that, then I could focus in on, well, what would that cost? And let me tease that out, like how Mark says.
I didn't point that out to everybody else today.
No,
I think Robin got it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can send it out to everybody else. Again, we've got another 4 weeks. One possibility is to just have an event line item and allow the group to develop something over the next several months. And at least you have the funding in it.
You have the money in there, yeah.
Mm.
There was money in it.
is that a possibility, Mark? I hope to Mark, boy, is it to just do that so that we have time to talk about it?
Of course, I mean, I wouldn't limit yourself right now necessarily by categories, right? Just you're shooting stuff at the wall, right?
Yeah, we are. We're brainstorming.
Yeah. So don't worry about categories. We can figure those out.
Okay.
Once you refine your ideas.
And so
I have a question.
To you, this material Cynthia sent in. Some of this some of her ideas would require probably interactions with the Parks and Arts Commission, Gen Camp, but I would say don't necessarily worry about those details so much now. Right now, we're just looking to fund things for the calendar year.
Okay.
I had a question. When Robin said brainstorming, I just wondered, would the group be interested in having a workshop between now and the next meeting to kind of do more brainstorming, or just save it for the next meeting, do you think?
There's just save it for the next meeting. And honestly, next meeting should just be budget.
I would like to propose that too,
Yeah,
and
I think we ought to get that.
and I mean, that's sort of the main focus so that we can, I agree.
And I think I would like to see everyone here, at least for that meeting. I'd like to, honestly, I'd like to see everyone attend that meeting. Because it's really important for us to get our budget and get it, make sure everyone's agreeing on, what we're going to be proposing to city council.
I agree. So August 16th is that date. Does that work well in everybody's schedule? Because that's what our next
meeting is.
Yeah.
We really want to make sure we have a quorum for that date.
Yes, we.
Otherwise, well, I know we just heard that things will be adjusted, but let's say assuming things were all due on the following Friday, we don't have a lot of time to reschedule.
Right.
If August 16th doesn't work. So as long as you folks, the vast majority, can commit to being there that day, we should be okay.
Yep, I can be there.
Yep.
I heard a yes from somebody.
Two yeses, I think.
Yeah.
And Summer also, you got 2 yeses over here.
They both say yeah. And I know Aaron will be, unless Emmett's got something going on, but I'll check with Aaron tomorrow, as I didn't know tomorrow we're at the golf thing. Then we just have to check with Jennifer, and I think we're good.
Perfect. On the 16th, and
we just set up our agenda.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We just set up our agenda. So my idea that I had, just besides supplies, and I got, just for a joke, David, I got really Monday what I said.
Well, it was also serious, I think.
What?
I think you were also serious.
Only just halfway. So I put mine down for supplies, and then one of the things that I came across while working at the farmers market is that there are so many new people. Some people tell me that they just moved here. like maybe 1 week, maybe 3 weeks, maybe. But they don't understand, and they'll say they just don't understand Liberty Lake and what they have, and we give them some magazine that's on Spokane. And I thought one of the things that made Liberty Lake is our culture, our strong value system, and part of that is our history. And so I propose that I've done these before. It really is an INE type outreach project. And to look at doing a nice video on the history of Liberty Lake that we could have so people could see this on site or on our website and look at doing something. And that would be specific to us. We would work with staff on like comments, and that was mine. And the cost that I have done it, I went up. I did not put this amount of money for it but one of mine, but it was an award-winning because that's what my business wanted, and it was 25,000. But then I also did another one for 6,000. So I took the $6,000 budget, wasn't the contractor and everything.
Would this be like something that we could do in-house with the city staff? Do we have those capabilities?
They're not sure.
It depends on, I've done videos myself.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Part would be make sure we have good video camera quality. I have software to edit videos. Yes, I've done videos before. The real step number one is make sure you get a good camera.
It is, yes. Make sure you have good.
That could be rented.
Could be rented for the cost of 6,000. You could easily buy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, you said 6.
You know, that was
We possibly double that. If we want to really do something like this, we buy the equipment and everything. If it costs you 6,000 to put it together, okay, let's add another 6 to it and get a camera, get the equipment. So let's budget.
So we could maybe do other future videos.
Yeah,
Okay.
make that,
Possibly would involve contracting services of people who do drone video work. We don't have a drone here. I've never used a drone.
Yeah, that is true. You'll need somebody
we got some citizens that do real good stuff, drones, yeah.
I would argue that we could do this. We could do this.
They may have an audio, visual, or video production.
Right.
Yeah.
And would be looking for some projects maybe to partner with us.
Yeah.
So one of my video projects is when I've been in the past, that's what I did. I partnered with the Confederated Salish Kootenai Tribe College, and they were able to put out this just state of the art policy.
It just within the last 6 weeks or so, they had a group come in from their like their industrial manufacturing class who are doing the walk infrastructure out at I think it's Orchard Park. So we partnered with them on those kinds of things. They've also done the graffiti barrels out at Rocky Hill. And so if they have an AV program, maybe that's something that we can work with them.
That's an excellent idea. So if I put that down, does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah. Mark, this is the first high school.
Exactly.
This is Summer here, and I'm going to play devil's advocate and just say if there's any resistance to budgetary concerns, a lot can be done on the iPhone. And I know that sounds sort of ridiculous, but honestly, full movies are being shot on iPhones. And you can get some good stuff and you can cut things together and you can, I just think that it doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest thing ever. We have citizens here who do drone stuff who'd be happy to submit their work. And I think it might be interesting for the sake of community engagement to maybe do some self-taped things and to have other people submit things and we're cutting it together. So that would be my pitch. I've worked in film and TV for my entire life. So I'd be here to say, yeah, absolutely fun to shoot stuff and do that. But at the same time, I don't know that it's necessary. And I would also say that it might be fun to have a sort of, different take on it. And like when the pandemic was happening, we started doing more things where we saw people sort of self-submitting things, and that in itself created an interesting sort of documentary of things. Doesn't mean it has to be sloppy, but just a pitch.
No, she's accurate on that. I will back up that comment.
So, since I sort of caught certain sections of that, do I need to add anything to here, or was it just?
I think Summer was primarily saying there are other ways to get some footage, basically at very low cost, right?
At no cost, almost.
I think, looking at all those available, like I said, I took that number based on projects I've done in the past, and so we'll just, that's a place, I think, I look at
It's a starting
these
point,
as, it's a placeholder.
It's a starting point, sure.
Right, okay, but I'm glad that, people be excited to run the video about the history of Liberty Lake and helping the new people really understand our culture. This is really why we are the community we are. Yeah. Did I miss anything or missed anybody or any other comments? This is a great starting point, by the way, everybody.
Again, I remind everybody, you have between now and the next meeting to still come up with stuff.
Yeah, my brain's going like this, and
Okay.
I don't want to open that fucking my mouth yet. So give me a couple of weeks.
I would like to, if everybody is amenable to this, is to really look at the next meeting and have that basically dominate the meeting, this discussion, so then we can get the numbers.
We just decided on that.
Yeah, then that's our requested item, David, for the next agenda. So everybody can be here. But I guess I didn't finish discussions in business. Work plan 2023, I just updated that, and David sent out a copy of that to everybody. If there are any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. And we just have other opportunities. Okay, no comments on that one. I want to ask right now, is there anything else that I would have missed
For what?
for tonight's meeting?
Oh,
That we didn't cover, or maybe didn't adequately cover?
yeah, I thought we did everything really good.
I thought we
The
did.
most important thing we got through was a good starting point on the budget.
Okay,
I will add, Cynthia, I don't know if you can see this from the not stellar quality of the video. We do have an official nameplate for you and your name.
Oh, it's right there. That's really nice too, Cynthia.
It's been a while. Get that done.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. How exciting. I can see Bill over there, but I see the name slot, but I can't actually read it. Oh, how cool. How cool is that?
There it is next to Bill.
Thank you.
excellent. If there's nothing else for the good of the order?
I just have a quick question. I closed my computer, but you mentioned a meeting with either the city council or group. Talk about the CE.
Mark, did you want to reference the idea you had about having the city council meet with CEC to look at roles and expectations?
Yeah, and I think it would be more of a workshop so that you can share ideas with them and they can share ideas with you, considering since the group's formation, I don't know if that conversation has happened formally. So I think it would be great to have. We've got that scheduled for the August 15th workshop. So that's the second city council meeting in August. And that would be at the 6 p.m. workshop. And so we would dedicate the whole hour for that conversation to occur.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Bill, are you available for that? I think you said.
I'll switch things. I got enough notice. That's important enough.
I can be there for that.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Someone could explain.
And that works on my schedule for
I won't be the only one in the audience. Good, I have a good group.
Okay. Thanks for mentioning that, I forgot because I remember that. Okay,
Mark, does that qualify as a meeting that we have to announce that they're doing? CBC is doing
We
as a
would,
quorum?
we would notice it as a joint meeting.
Okay.
mhm. So, let's remember that August 15th is the city council workshop meeting at 6 o'clock p.m. August 16th, our official meeting, and we talk about the budget. Anything? Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
And just the timing of that may help inform that discussion on the 16th about your budget. Having that workshop with the council the day before, so that might actually working well, yeah.
I think it will, actually. You give a chance for the city council to meet us too.
You done?
Yes. Anything else? Okay,
We adjourn the meeting.
okay, nothing else? Meeting adjourned, everybody. Oh, thanks.
Technically, you had a motion for it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
You did move, somebody needs to second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm in favor.
I'll second it.
All opposed.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite.
Yeah, you were excellent. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.